So you're a poet, she says. I was right. You are the sensitive type. I say to her, no. I said I'm a poet. All that means is that I do my best to write poems to scream at the sun. It means that I write poetry lines. I write lines into weathered faces. I write coke lines off countertops. I write lines on risks of redemption. I write amusement park and homeless shelter waiting lines. I write perfectly polluted skylines. As a poet, I understand what it's like to feel. I know how to breathe in the passion packed into words. I know that catharsis bleeds into paper like ink and tears. I understand that feeling certain kinds of happiness is like cradling the sun in your arms while humming solar lullabies. I know the darkest kind of depression lurks inside the bullet chamber of a gun. I know what it's like to drive into the sunrise to feel the rebirth of purpose. I know that in this life, we all die more than once. I'm comfortable saying that everything will be okay because inside all of us is the capacity to feel alive. As a poet, I know that far too often people have their eyes on the hourglass instead of the stars. I know that most will pay the cable bill but pass on the price of dreaming. I notice the job applications always ask for your first and last names but never for who are you. I know that for every person there's a story, and for every story there's a lamp that's been glued back together. I know that the human condition can be terminal and that we don't need airport terminals to rebuild the broken wings of Icarus, because inside all of us is the ability to touch the sky. Does that make me the sensitive type? Maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't. But it does make me the human type, and as a human I know what it feels like to be alone in a crowd. In fact, I avoid crowds because of it. I've broken more lamps than I'd like to admit and haven't glued enough back together. As a human, I know what it's like to have a bruised face as a reminder of my mistakes and felt the shower head wash forgiveness over my entire body. As a human, I know how it feels to wake up to the rhythm of the drums beating on the inside of my chest and to ask myself what I'm breathing for. I know what it's like to look at my own worst enemy in the mirror. As a human, I felt the sun in my left hand and a gun in my right, and I felt the wax and feathers melt upon my back, and I've experienced the great collapse. And as a human, I know that every single one of us deserves to fly, because we live in a world where the human condition shouldn't be a diagnosis. We live in a galaxy where every story is endless, where lamps never break. I know the only thing that keeps us from being gods is fear. So the next time you reach for the sky, don't look down. Stop letting you can't turn into you didn't. I know that underneath all of our clothes lives the superhero we hide from the world. I know we're all too afraid to light our match of greatness because someone might just blow it out. All of us, and I mean all of us, are stars in the human galaxy where all we need to do is just let ourselves shine, because inside all of us is something beautiful.